thanksgiving in his courts with praise. This is our starting point. First, establish our heart in thankfulness, then lift up our voices and offer to the Lord the fruit of our lips, our praise. Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the Lord. Jesus has made it possible for us to cast all our burdens upon him and his joy to become our strength. So let's all sing praise together. Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the Lord. Let the winds clap their hands. Let the mountains dance. Lifting up his name, he lives within our praise.
Our Lord Jesus really wants us to be sensitive to his presence, to know his voice, and to respond to him as one friend responds to another. God creates in us a heart that is sensitive to him, doesn't he? Like an inner fountain that springs up within us. We become aware of his presence and joy, his power and love. Though he always dwells within us, his believers, our awareness of him becomes even greater when we draw near to him in praise. Jesus has delivered us from our sin and goofs and has made us priests to serve the Father. The Apostle Peter wrote that we are a royal priesthood, and as priests we are called to minister to God. Praise is where we begin. But then he wants to take us deeper and to learn the beauty of worship.
We are called to be a royal priesthood that will minister to God. Declare the wisdom of his ways. Exalt his character in praise. We are called to yield unto the Spirit that he may form in us the beauty of the life of Jesus. We're called to bear his presence and manifest his glory. Called to feel his heart and know authority, and give to him undying devotion, our full adoration, that he may
mean to minister to the Lord through worship? Perhaps we can understand our ministry to Him by looking at the Old Testament priests, who are like spiritual illustrations to us, who are the royal priesthood. The prophet Ezekiel shows us that the priests of the Old Testament had two areas of ministry: the outer court where they served the people, and the inner court where they ministered to God. They served the people by offering sacrifices. Even so, God calls us to minister to the needs of people, to encourage the downhearted, to comfort the lonely, to share the good news of Jesus with those who do not know Him. But after the priests would serve the people, they would enter the inner court to settle into a quiet place of worship before the Lord. Because Jesus lives in us, the inner court is as close as our heart. Isn't it? It is that place of communion that we know God and find lasting joy. For Jesus said, "This is life eternal, that you may know me."
We are called to keep the Father's word and meditate upon the loveliness of Jesus Christ and offer praise our sacrifice. Our worship is responding to the revelations of His name, bringing pleasure unto Him whose heart is broken over sin. We're called to yield our minds, our body, soul, and spirit. Worship Him the way He wants to hear it. Love and give to Him undying devotion, our full adoration, that He may be pleased, and to set our hearts on this one endeavor, to worship forever His majesty.
His majesty.
Our time alone with God isn't just a time of worship, but it's also a time of warfare, isn't it? The Apostle Peter wrote that the devil's like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. When Paul and Silas were thrown into the dark Philippian jail, the devil thought he had them licked, didn't he? But what did they do? They sang, and the Lord sent a mighty earthquake to set them free. Well, one thing's for sure, the devil can't stand it when God's people praise Him.
We clap our hands with all our might and watch the enemy be put to flight. The joy of Jesus is our strength. In Him we have our victory.